Nobody, absolutely nobody, fans of something I don't like when they see an exuberant, veiny, and juicy dick. Who would have told me that a movie whose plot is about three girls from a K-pop band hunting demons was going to be one of the most entertaining things I've seen all year long? It honestly scares me, the damn contrast there is at Sony with its video game division, screwing things up as much as possible. Meanwhile, on the other hand, you have Sonic Pictures animation going through an evolution like few others have seen. Going from animating movies like Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs, those cheesy live-action Smurfs movies, and canceling the damn Popeye movie to greenlight the Emoji Movie. Going from that to revolutionizing animation with Spider-Man, into the Spider-Verse, the Mitchells versus the Machines. And now this? A movie with a really weird concept that seems like it came out of the mind of a 16-year-old girl whose brain is fried from TikTok. It ended up becoming a movie that, while not quite a masterpiece, manages to stand out as a pretty entertaining film that also excels visually. And the songs, what can I say about them? A movie that has the word K-pop in the title should, I assume, have at least a good soundtrack. And I'm not talking about its original soundtrack being good only for the guys and girls who watch dramas like Their Life Depends on It. For example, me, but I also expect a soundtrack that can satisfy the ears of other kinds of people. For example, also me. Someone who drinks 4 coffees before even realizing they got out of bed and sat on the couch just to watch a K-pop movie on Netflix? And a bottle of vodka. Don't mix caffeine and alcohol. As Jesus Christ said, do as I say, not as I do. Sorry, let me finish my coffee. Delicious, damn it! After dealing with my schizophrenia and coffee, let's begin. This all started a very long time ago. The demons, coming from who knows where, tormented humanity, shoving 47 centimeters of pure essence into them to steal their souls. All just to use that power to feed the king of the demons, Giwi Mao, or however you pronounce it. From now on, I'll call him Alyssa McQueen. As a fun fact, the actor who voices him in Korean is the same actor who plays the leader in Squid Game. It's a mixed bag for me. In any case, I'd rather not risk getting in hot water by sharing my thoughts on Squid Game Season 3. Maybe it wasn't that bad, but in the end, it was all anticlimactic. Well, whatever. Considering the horror that demons caused humanity, 3 huntresses emerged whose voices not only drove away demons, but were also able to unite the souls of those who heard them. Thus, they formed the Hanman, a protective barrier. The Huntress's legacy was passed down through generations, because every so often, a new trio of singers would use their voices to keep the barrier afloat and the demons away from their world. Until today, when Celine, a previous huntress, passes the duty to a new group of girls, whose responsibility will be to unite the souls of all who listen to them in order to strengthen the barrier. Moving to the present, we realize the immense influence and power of K-pop, mirroring its impact in real life. These girls have seemingly become the most popular band ever in their world. They delight us with expressive animation characteristic of the studio, showcasing facial animations worthy of anime, but adapted to this style and looking freaking great. They also demonstrate a good understanding of the audience who follows these artists, including me. You have everything from young teenagers to buff guys who don't hide at all enjoying this art. Damn, they even perfectly captured this stupid trend of wearing the most random and senseless clothes in front of the cameras, just to get attention. Although it's not like a girl in a sleeping bag is the weirdest thing that's ever been seen at one of these celebrity events. Also, we found out that Celine was the one who formed the group Huntrix, made up of Zoe, Mira, and Rumi, and Rumi's mother was part of Celine's group. But after she passed away, it was Celine who took care of raising her daughter and forming the group Huntrix. Do you understand Huntrix as hunter? Because Cazadora means hunter in English, and hunter as in hunter and chimera ants, and I think that not doing reviews for such a long time damaged me. And, well, the fans are really excited because after this concert, the girls will take a little break. Damn, but fans really take it well when their favorite artists take a break. Knowing how this kind of fandom is, you would expect something like what the One Direction fans did back when they broke up. But Beals, who are you talking about? Sorry, it's just that I'm so young I was born after Minecraft. No, you don't want to know, kid. Don't Google it. Just let it go. Anyway, it's time for the spectacular concert, with a bunch of fans waiting for their artists on stage. But it turns out the singers and the producer in charge aren't there, who, instead of looking like a 50-year-old mobster, ready to exploit every last second of the girls' lives to get the most profit out of them. He resembles my friend who's glued to his chair able to recount every World of Warcraft event and expansion since the start. I have to say, if there's something in this movie that bothered me, it's how they try to whitewash this industry. We all know the inner darkness, but that's not what this video is about. The girls are casually on their private jet. I have my first negative critique. What is this about? K-pop stars neglecting their eating regimen? 100 grams of broccoli a day and a little bottle of distilled water? They should be on the strictest and most inhuman diets, while practicing extremely complex choreographies, while trying hard to keep a smile that hides all the pain and suffering they have inside. I don't understand this like a true K-pop star. Seriously though, I don't think it's bad. However, I found it really funny that, well, we all know that the dream of being a K-pop artist is actually more like an endless slave contract with your producer. A crucial contest against the many groups that emerge daily. And seeing that these girls can behave like girls is nice, knowing everything that goes on behind the scenes. The movie's opening minutes highlight one of animation's greatest strengths, though some may find it questionable. The expressiveness offered by this medium is incomparable to reality. There are cases like the How to Train Your Dragon movie trilogy, where a more realistic animation style enabled a faithful live-action adaptation. Bringing animated content to life often results in creating the most dull and uninteresting version of the original material. I mentioned that trilogy because we'll probably make a video talking about its live-action adaptation soon. Referring to Las Pibas' concert, the producer calls and asks, "Where are the girls? Munyayo and the girls? Eating a classic maracatan with the girls in Manguito. Luca, tell them about it." And the guy says, "What, Mango? What the hell? There's a showdown here." And that's when we realize that the pilot and the flight attendants don't behave very organically, very human, right? I don't know. Maybe the fact that they were serving coffee to a plant should have been a sign that something was wrong, but, well, it could just be that they were nervous, right? The plant doesn't like the coffee. In this world, having strange marks on your arm leads to immediate identification as a demon by the hunters, and they'll proceed to do the most sensible thing possible. That is, end your life in the hardest and most painful way possible. Thus begins a fight in the middle of an airplane, while they introduce us to the first song of the movie. Okay, first point, what's with this damn obsession with fighting on airplanes when it's the most freaking dangerous thing on the planet? And second, as a fun fact, dubs like the Spanish, Latin American, or French versions decided that for some reason it would be a good idea to dub the songs into their respective languages. I guess the charm of these kinds of films is actually listening to the songs in their original language. Is it true that they don't sound bad in Spanish? I mean, considering the atrocity they could have made, it's actually not that bad. After reviewing all the dubs, Latin Spanish was the only one where the same actresses performed both the dialogues and songs. I don't know, I just found it interesting, but hey, if there's anyone who wants to hear the girls sing in Hebrew or Turkish, well, they should know they can do it. The thing is, it's better in the original language because the songs are awesome. And as much as I regret it and respect the work of the actresses and actors, they just don't come close to the original result. But anyway, as expected, the hunters take down the demons, showing us how good they are both in the fight choreography and in the songs, even though they destroyed half the plane in the process. I told you that was dangerous. Why did you bring me, cousin? But there's no issue as the Guardians aren't easily killed. So they jump out of the plane while continuing their song and land on stage with a look that says, yes, this was all part of our plan. To the rhythm of their song, the barrier protecting humanity from demons appears to grow stronger. Meanwhile, on the other hand, Isma watches as the hunters are about to obtain the Golden Home Moon. An indestructible barrier would be the perfect version, eternally trapping the demons in their bleak kingdom of darkness. As the situation deteriorates, he does what any good villain would do: kill one of his henchmen for no reason. More loyal around others. I'm not sure why. Maybe it's the aura. I need more coffee. But be careful because a mysterious figure emerges from the shadows. Literally, he just appeared out of nowhere. Handsome, well, it's the demon. He saw a way to steal the power of the hunters, and it's by using the same power they use to trap them. Grab a couple of demons who look like Korean K-pop idols, change their hair a little, and go to the human world to create his own demon boy band. This scene is hilarious as they pose with an aura, but in an anticlimactic manner. I adored the scene. You might wonder why no other demon had thought of this idea before. I believe it's because they are the only attractive ones who can also sing well. Let's return to reality now. During the concert, when the home moon briefly turned golden, the girls realized they were close to perfecting the barrier. These 2 weeks will be a serious vacation, filled with rest, relaxation, and shared moments together. Because these girls are not just group mates, they're practically family. Or at least that's what I'd say if it weren't for Rumi, who, without consulting the other two, she suddenly announced her new song titled Golden without any prior warning. Obviously, it's meant to perfect the home moon. This scene made me genuinely angry. I mean, just thinking about the other two poor girls who wanted to rest, and this damn psychopath didn't let them. I mean, it really got to me, like, God, I empathized a lot. It made me really angry. So, that's it. The song is released to the public. The girls go around doing press conferences to promote the song that they're going to perform live. Suddenly, in the middle of the touching and emotional montage where the girls seem happy, out of nowhere, something shocking happens. Because finally, the barrier will be perfected. We find out that Rumi has the marks of the demons. The situation deteriorates further when you realize Zoe and Mira are oblivious to it. Surely it can't get worse than this, can it? No way. Rumi's demon marks can't be so extreme that they're affecting her voice, right? Which, let's remember, she needs to use to perfect the barrier. Oh wait, that's exactly what's happening, forget it. Well, there aren't just tens of thousands of scary fans outside waiting to hear the girl's song. Oh, wait, there are. It turns out that Rumi escaped. Since childhood, Celine has put the idea in Rumi's head that she must hide her true self, even from her sisters with whom she fights demons every day. But once the Golden Hanman appears, their marks will disappear along with all the demons on the planet. Which doesn't have to be true, it's just a vague and empty promise. But now, nearing that goal, her voice, her tool and weapon to raise that barrier, is beginning to break, as if fate were playing a cruel joke on her, showing her a goal so close to her hands and yet so far away. At the most crucial moment of all, realizing there's not much she can do, she decides to return home, where her sisters are waiting to support her unconditionally. And because of Celine's warnings, Rumi has always had to keep her distance from them. She couldn't even show her arms to the girls she spends practically the whole day with. These girls aren't biological sisters, but I call them that because it sounds nice. They're practically sisters. Zoe and Mira give Rumi all the support they can, even though the manager has to face the greatest beast known to man all by himself. A group of K-pop fans enraged by a last-minute rescheduling of a concert date? It may not sound frightening, but these individuals are capable of much. I'm serious, a great deal. The good thing is that Zoe knows a doctor who can cure Rumi's voice, although we quickly realize that this doctor has some pretty strange habits. His bulging eyes look like they're about to pop out. He also has cut-out photos of himself placed next to celebrities. That give me a weird vibe, like those typical, ugly edits from the last decade, where kids from certain countries would insert themselves next to anime girls. The time we'd all like to forget. They give him a magic potion and leave Dr. Rarito's shop. Incidentally, Dr. Rarito also had an ugly photo montage with them. I mean, I don't think it was the best idea. So nothing? With the magic juice already in their possession, there shouldn't be any problems, or at least that's what I'd say until that moment happens. 4 extremely attractive guys appear out of nowhere, and both Zoe and Mira are completely mesmerized by the beauty of such amazing specimens. Among them, we have the protagonist from Generic H Anime and Gigi from Dandadan. Okay, this montage with the abs was creative, I have to admit it, even though it's pretty wild. And even though Rumi stays completely normal when these guys show up, a 5th one makes his entrance, and that's when she really gets hypnotized. I want to believe it was because he was the only one with natural hair, at least until the jerk pushes her and makes her fall. And when it seemed like they were about to have their typical Korean drama montage, where suddenly Samsung, Kia, and stuff like that appear on screen. My buddy breaks expectations and just shrugs his shoulder, looking at the freak he just bumped into. And then, well, the girls pick up the juices they dropped and curse the guys out in their heads. These guys, I mean, it's not like they're going run into them again in the future, right? It was just a one-time thing. Well, turns out they will. On that same street, the bastards put on a public show where they introduce themselves to the world as the Saya Boys, literally the Lion Dudes. By the way, just in case it wasn't clear, these guys are the same demons from before, all right? And the moment the girls realize these guys are demons, they think the best thing to do is give them a little beating. I like to think that the fact they found out they're demons just gave them an excuse to kill them. But of course, they're not just going to go and kill 5 guys in front of so many people out of nowhere, because, well, it would look kind of weird, wouldn't it? So, seeing that a group of demon guys are starting to cause a stir, and that this could surely have a negative impact on the fact that the barrier to eliminate them is about to be perfected. The girls decide that the only thing they can do right now is put on their leather suits and go kill them. Of course, not before the guys do their bit of performance with Soda Pop. My God, what a great song. It's their best song except for the one released after it, which is the greatest song ever. My God. Laura Doll, please leave my mind. Seriously, that song is stuck in my head and won't go away. Help! Why the hell do they wear leather suits? Well, if you're going to kill demons, you might as well do it in style, right? After all, they're K-poppers, aren't they? So they intercept them on a game show. A game show where the guys wear bibs, drink hot sauce, and okay. I'm being told through my earpiece that this actually happens in real life. And it's like a way to fetishize K-pop fans, treating them like babies and doing weird things to them. So yeah, I didn't want to know that. I was better off before. Oh my God, call Jesus Christ. And just when the girls seem to have found the perfect opportunity, Jinu realizes the spying and openly presents the Huntrix to the public. As if planned, they laugh at them briefly before running away, only to be intercepted by the girls. In some hot springs, thus beginning a fight between aquatic demons and the hunters, who realize that the barrier for some reason is weakening. While Toei and Mira risk their lives battling demons, Rumi confronts Jinu alone. A tear in her suit reveals to Jinu that Rumi is a demon, or at least half demon. So she does what anyone would have done in her place, right? Hug her with a handsome face and cover that up. The exposed part of her skin so no one notices. But aren't they supposed to not get along? Does it matter? Who cares? Did it turn out well? Who cares? Meanwhile, the demons are thrilled at the incoming Feast of Souls better than ever before. The girls can only watch as the barrier of their world is deteriorating in a terrifying way. It was a good joke, showing the girls' representative acting like the good guy. The boys' band surpassing theirs is bad, but not the end of the world. Sure, it's not like there's a barrier protecting the world from destruction that's falling apart because of this. So, seeing that everything is going to hell in record time, the number of demons entering Earth is increasing, and the influence of demon children is also growing. They set out to write the song with as many blasphemies and insults as possible so that the demon kids get what they deserve. A great song titled Takedown. Indeed, time to eat. But first, I need to get my voice back, so it's time to drink the miracle tonic, which turned out to be just plain grape juice. That guy was messed up. I got a bad feeling about him when the doctor started talking about vibes and such. However, in her room, Rumi is visited by a little friend, a bird with a hat and a rather adorable demon tiger. I must admit, this joke had me laughing out loud. The tiger appears, drops the flower pot, and with its chubby paws, it repeatedly tries, but fails to lift the pot it just knocked over. God is just too funny. I'm happy with so little. It turns out the tiger was sent by Jinu, who wanted to see Rumi in person and asked for a meeting. So she does the most logical thing in the world. She goes to the meeting point and cuts off his head. The end. Credits. My friend anticipated the woman's actions and left a mannequin as a precaution, which turned out to be a clumsy move. Despite Rumi's relentless attacks, Jinu knows the truth and suspects she hasn't revealed his marks to the others. He chooses to share his story with her. 400 years ago, my buddy was poor, really poor, so Himba told him, "Come here and let me touch that ass so I can touch it." Touch it! He transformed into a demon, gaining satanic powers and infiltrated the emperor's castle. And so he and his family lived happily, at least until the demon marks consumed him and he was transported to the demon realm, leaving his mother and younger sister completely alone, who, without him, returned to poverty. And, in fact, worse, because he was practically the one supporting them, and the marks are a constant reminder of his greed. Rumi seems resistant to the "I used to be like you" trick. She attacks Jinu again, but he disappears. So now the strategy is to write the most destructive song they can think of. Although it's not exactly easy to create a song specifically made to literally destroy someone, especially when that someone just arrived in the world less than 2 days ago, and the only bad thing you have to attack them with is something you can't reveal to the world. I mean, like, what are you going to complain about them? Oh, look at those disgusting chiseled abs. Look at that disgusting silky hair, soft like grass from, I don't know, the Garden of Eden. Look at those piercing eyes of, okay, we get it. But the song still manages to come through anyway, as we see a montage of how the girls keep killing demons. But after Jinu's words, now Rumi asks the demons if they're being controlled before finishing them off, which always ends with the demon getting stabbed. Days go by and the Saya Boys reach more and more audience. Eventually, the girls find themselves at an event where they can meet their fans for photos, autographs, and more. The problem comes when the first guys to show up in front of them are the damn Saya Boys. And although at first it seems like they're going to take half of their fans away from the place, Rumi decides that it's better if everyone sits at the same table so the fans can be shared. That's when the worst nightmare for any celebrity happens: shipping. And obviously, under the logic that those who fight are in love. Despite Rumi and Jinu's apparent disdain for each other, people begin to ship them together, fueling rumors of a potential romance between the two. Jinu attempts to peacefully communicate with Rumi, expressing his desire for Isma to eliminate the tormenting voices of his family from his mind. Jinu tells Rumi that defeating Isma is nearly impossible. During their talk, a little girl hands Jinu a drawing. A drawing that simply says his soul is something beautiful, leaving him deep in thought. He wonders if it could really be true, or if he even has a soul at this point. Or maybe if he's hiding something. Later that same day, while Rumi was still writing, the letter is intercepted by Jinu's tiger, who keeps insisting on a meeting. But since Mira wants to come in, he kindly asks the tiger to leave, but oh no, Rumi just knocked over a trash can and that huge kitty isn't going to allow it. Here we have an overly humorous scene where Mira attempts to engage in a wholly serious discussion with Rumi. Meanwhile, the latter tries to hide the huge tiger, about the size of a grizzly bear, but surprisingly, it works. Mira, who is blind, doesn't notice, likely because she was engrossed in the conversation. After escaping from Mira, the disappearances caused by the demon kids have multiplied. According to Jinu's letter, Rumi accepts the date, though it's unclear if it's actually a date or not. Regardless, it doesn't matter. The thing is, Rumi, after hearing my buddy's heartbreaking story, decides to give him a chance. She asks him to lose on purpose in the upcoming music award contests, and offers to stay on this side when the golden Han moon is activated, freeing herself from Lizma's control forever. Considering that the other guys in the group haven't had the slightest bit of development, whether they're included in the deal or not is completely irrelevant. Here, we only care about Jinu. Also, a random old lady shows up and gives them some couple bracelets. After observing his behavior, he directly tells her to seek someone else, as he has lost all hope. Jinu is hurt when he realizes he has no chance with Rumi. Despite her offering him the bracelet, he refuses to accept it. But actually he does, just to have that typical moment where my buddy suddenly grabs her hand, and it turns out, no, he just wanted the bracelet. You know how it goes, right? So they say goodbye. After making a song together, which was relatively nice, even though I don't really like slow songs, the girls start practicing the choreography for the most hype song in history. It's just that Rumi doesn't feel very comfortable singing a song about how she hates demons. It's not just her, since she's half demon, but she's also becoming friends with one. But it's irrelevant, as a pack of demons is attacking the train. And while they're fighting them, the girls question Rumi about her sudden change of perspective towards demons. And they start singing the catchy song while fighting. However, Rumi seems a bit hesitant about singing her part, singing about how demons are despicable beings who only deserve death, taking a second to think and getting distracted. Well, most likely, when she sang those lyrics, she saw herself reflected in that demon who didn't seem so hostile in the first place, and she also saw herself reflected. Do demons really deserve to die? English Free Eden fandom moment. Just when it seemed they had defeated all the demons. It turns out that the Saya Boys are literally hypnotizing the fans through TikTok. Something like the real world, but explicitly. And the demons are taking them away really fast. Everything I encounter reminds me of the tension I felt when I first watched the Cell arc, with clothes scattered in the middle of the city, not knowing what the hell was going on. That's when the girls are really worried about the situation, because right now, the only thing that matters is winning and sealing the demons forever. That same afternoon, Rumi meets with Jinu and reveals that ever since she began speaking with him, her voice has been recovering, along with other improvements. While they're talking, the voices in Jinu's head disappear completely. There's a beautiful musical montage that really moved me. About 1% of the dopamine felt by those who constantly watch dramas, including me. I swear, while I was watching this musical number with these two, talking about how they complement each other, and how looking into each other's eyes makes them feel things they've never felt before. I considered hitting that bastard, but realized his family's voices no longer tormented him. Because of her, Jinu readily agrees to surrender and lose the competition, allowing the girls to seal the demons. But that's when, just as Rumi was happily leaving, Lizma summons Jinu, because obviously this guy heard everything, and he wasn't just going to stand there like an idiot, right? Although surprisingly, he doesn't take him out right then and there, but instead tells him the truth, which is that he doesn't trust her. Because if he did, he would have told her the truth. And it turns out that actually, when Isma gave power to Jinu, the bastard went alone to the emperor's palace and left his mother and younger sister in poverty, while he enjoyed the good life. And that's why the voices torment him so much, because it wasn't something that was out of his control. He wasn't dragged into the world of demons, being forced to abandon those he loved. None of that. Instead, he willingly chose his own happiness over sharing it with those who had been by his side from the very beginning. Also, Isma tells him what's going to happen. Either the voices of his family will grow louder and louder, or they'll stop forever, but that depends on him. The following day, Rumi apologizes for his behavior, but they all agree that a song rooted in hate is not the best choice. To bring the fans together, so they agree that they'll sing Golden. Rumi suggests that once the Han Mundarada is ready, the three of them will take their first bath together. It's something Sawi and Mira had always wanted, but Rumi, not wanting to show her marks, always refused. If all goes well with the barrier, the marks will vanish. So finally the moment, or the event arrives where the song that will define the barrier will be presented. And just as he promised, Jinu caused a fight among the Saya boys and they couldn't perform. So the girls got the opportunity. Despite everything going smoothly, external forces deceived the girls, leaving Rumi alone on stage. With two demons who perfectly imitated her friends, reproaching her for all the lies she had told them, breaking her mentally and revealing her true form in front of the audience. Not only that, but because of the deception, the audience believed that the Huntrix had fought and broken up live, which further weakened the barrier they were supposed to protect. But that's not as horrible as what's really happening between them, because the girls have just discovered the truth. A truth that probably wouldn't have hurt them so much. Initially, there would have been an impact, but I believe they would have accepted it. But the lie that lasted for so many years and was discovered in such a sudden and abrupt way hurts more than anything else. And even though Rumi tried to explain herself, her friends, practically her sisters, only responded with their weapons in hand, forcing her to escape, even though they probably wouldn't have done anything to her. While she's running away, she finds Jinu, who turned out to have been planning this. And even though Rumi confronts him, telling him that he's not like that, he admits what he did. That he used the power Isma gave him to leave his disgusting life behind and live in the palace like a king, knowing that his family would suffer without him. But he gives Rumi a demon's lesson, that as a demon, you simply have to live with the pain, leaving her completely alone. And not only that, but the barrier's at its worst right now. Isma's influence runs through everyone's hearts, bringing them to their lowest point where they are easily manipulated. And the Sela boys take them to a supposed free concert, which will actually be a way to gather them all together and make it a feast for the demons. And now, having lost everything, Rubio goes straight to Celine, revealing to her that his true self has been exposed and that the girls know about it. But above all, he questions her about why she didn't do anything. Why didn't she eliminate her? Or why did she forbid him from showing his true self to the people he was with there? Celine admits that upon her mother's death, she vowed to safeguard her entire legacy, but never anticipated it would be a demon-human hybrid. According to her, everything she was taught indicated that it was wrong and that she should put an end to it, but the promise she made had to be kept. But because of her beliefs and teachings, she thought it was best to hide her. And even now, when her true form is more than exposed, she tries to find some way or lie to perpetuate the deception, refusing to accept that the girl she loved and raised is now something completely different. Instead of teaching her to be herself or to have others accept her for who she is, she spent her whole life scaring her about what could happen, about how she wasn't something normal, but rather a mistake that needed to be fixed. Something that was broken from birth and that only if it was fixed, well, it would be good for something. And that her only motivation to fight was to get rid of those disgusting things that made her different. But due to that, everything is now lost, and Rumi herself says, if this is the Hamun I have to protect, I'll be glad to destroy her. That's when, in the middle of the Demons concert, by the way, what a great song, my God, what a spectacular song. I also allowed them to control my soul, letting them do as they pleased with me. Rumi enters the scene completely alone. Isma can only laugh since she's alone. The people are at her mercy. The barrier Rumi fought hard to protect is now destroyed. But she knows that if one barrier has fallen, a new one can be raised. Raising her sword once more and fighting against all the demons that rushed at her, she gives hope back to her friends, who start fighting by her side again. All this while Jinu watches from afar, doubting his actions until Isma corners Rumi. That's when Jinu decides to give his life to protect her, even as she, through tears, proclaims that she wanted to set him free. He accepts that he not only did that, but also showed her that he still has his soul and gives it to her. With his power and the power of all the souls, of those present and of the Brotherhood. With her companions, she manages to split Lisma in two, and together they raise a barrier that will protect the world until the end. Okay, I have to admit, it was funny that both Zoe and Mira, even when they were about to be killed, still found the demons attractive. And now that the greatest demon of all is gone, what's the point of the barrier? Or maybe there will be a sequel where it turns out the demon realm is actually like Dante's Inferno, where there are several levels, and Isma was only the first enemy and the real demon is out in space. And damn, Rumi, give me 5 asada tacos. I don't know. Who knows? What matters is that the girls can finally have their bath together. Hooray! They also meet some fans on the street and greet them, enjoying the beauty of life. It's also revealed that Jinu's tiger and the little bird are still around, so everything turned out fine. In the sequel, Jinu returns as a reincarnated ghost. Mecha Jinu is coming. The end. Let's see, what can I say about this movie? It's absolutely spectacular. Beautiful animation, entertaining, a great puffing of events, very good characters, and the music is absolutely unbelievable. I love it, especially how this movie handles the concept of accepting yourself. Because even though Rumi is half demon and in real life there are no demons, there are people who have peculiarities. Maybe you live in a country where you're not fully accepted because you arrived recently. Or maybe half of your genetics belong to another ethnicity. Or anything that makes you not feel fully integrated. It could be 1,000 things, a simple accent, being from another region, your family being different, anything that makes you feel different. This movie handles it in a very beautiful way, making Rumi accept herself in the end and proudly show who she is. Conquering her insecurities and fears, she realized it wasn't so bad after all. Because the truth is, our own insecurities always seem much more exaggerated to us than they do to others. I mean, think about it. Those of you who have, for example, a physical insecurity, which we all have, how many times have people told you it's not such a big deal? But we see it as much bigger than it really is. And it's really beautiful to see how it's represented here, that you can overcome it. You can get out of there and you can accept yourself. And not just accept yourself, but love yourself and be proud of who you are. Carry it with strength, as that's how it should be. I must admit, not everything seemed perfect to me. For example, I think this movie would work better, maybe as a series format. We already know that the movie's production has been extremely long and they couldn't cover everything. However, I particularly felt it needed some additional development. For the other Saja boys, because it's like the protagonist got a lot of story and his arc was completed. But the others, in the end, were just 4 good-looking guys who ended up being like generic demons, except that they sing really well. I would have liked a bit more characterization, motivations, personality, I don't know. I feel like that fell a little short for me. All right, on the other hand, with the group of protagonists, even though I love all 3 of them, I feel like only Rumi has closed her personal arc. Do you know what I mean? Meloda, on her part, has a complex where she feels like she'll never have a family, that she'll never be accepted by a group of people she can call family. And even though they've reconciled and all that, and it's really nice, that problem hasn't been solved. This girl, surely, when there's another weak moment, another fight, another slump, a depressive episode, a bad time, she'll go back to thinking about that. That problem hasn't been solved at its root. That's why a movie or a series with a special episode would work well. Looking into this girl's family, into why all this happened to her, maybe reconciling with her old family would help too. I don't know, it's like I felt there was a lot missing there. For instance, with the more compliant one, that's precisely the issue. She's exceedingly compliant, only acting out of fear of others' opinions. But that doesn't get resolved either. I mean, by the end of the movie, she's still the same. Compliant, fearful, insecure. I feel the same way about these 2. It's like everything turns out great for Rumi, and I'm really happy for Rumi, but the other 2 are just left out in the corner. I mean, nothing changed for her and they still have problems. Not everything is the demon's influence. They have those problems because even the doctor pointed it out when they went to, well, the doctor or whatever he was, that weird guy. I love the movie. Hopefully Netflix will invest in it given its success. And the author, I think she's a woman, can put more effort into this project. Because honestly, I think there's a lot more that can be done with it. And please make more, because I'm going to burn out the songs. I'm going to burn out Golden Takedown, Soda Pop, and my favorite, which is Your Idol. I mean, I'm listening to them every day, 50 times. I'm going to burn them out. I need more material. Please help. In conclusion, my people, always remember, if a Korean calls you poor, just show them this image. Like, dude, I mean, imagine paying extra for fruit. Like, dude, it grows on a tree, it should be free. Like, dude, what? All right, bye.